Coach was saying it's the first time in your career you had the kickoff return. I'm sure you obviously weren't happy about that. What can you give us a little insight on maybe what happened there? And
Well, number one, it was on the opener. I've given up a couple others, sadly. Been a while though, but it's like anything else. It's there's fits. Think of it as a run play, and there's guys that have certain fits and certain responsibilities, and against a dynamic return guy, if everybody's not where they're supposed to be, there's going to be an issue. And then we had compounded that with a second issue of a secondary player. So it was a very poor play. I take the blame for it. Like anything, good plays, you guys that have been around, good plays, give all the credit to the players. Bad plays, blame me. So I got to do a better job.
How did you like the special teams, the way they responded to that after the fact?
Well, I think that was critical. And I really, not only the kicking game players, but our whole team. I mean, you think about that game, we overcame a couple of turnovers, -2 in the turnover. You got a 17% chance of winning. You give up chunk plays on defense. You give up a big play in the kicking game. We overcame a lot as a team. And in kicking game in particular, bad things are going to happen. It's the National Football League. Some days you get the bear, some days the bear gets you. But you better be able to overcome and not let things spiral. And, it's the old adage, we played 30 plays, but you only remember one of them. And that's the way it is.
It's a little bit maybe philosophical. The kickoff has kind of been decreased, some of the rule changes and kicker kicking it out. Like, because of that, maybe less reps in games. I'm curious how that impacts how you coach that play in particular.
I think, like anytime you have less live reps at something, it's going to be a factor. But I mean, if we play our rules, if I do a better job of coaching our rules and our techniques, that shouldn't be a factor. But I think without question, you've seen the reduction in the number of returns over the last couple of years. But like we all know, as the season goes on and, based on who you're playing, where you're playing, weather becomes a factor. There's a lot of things that go into that.
What's practice like for players on that kick coverage team? What they hear from you is an extra focus and extra intensity that comes from you in the week after giving up a touchdown?
No, whether it's a good play or a bad play, it's a play, and you got to move on. As long as you're coaching and teaching the same things and you don't go and try and change things, you're going to be fine. We've been, in my opinion, fairly successful at what we've been doing and how we cover kicks. So we're not going to make changes, and we're not going to, I'm not going to act like a knucklehead. We gave up a play, give credit to them, take blame where it's deserved on our part, and move on and continue to teach and coach what we're doing.
When you see from the Buffalo guys, Xavier McKenzie, it's skips right.
Yeah, and Crowder does the punt return. Well, just, when you look at the Bills as a whole, very good team, well coached, good players, a point differential, which, year in and year out is a great indicator of quality of clubs. The last several years they've been near the top or at the top of point differential every year. So they're stingy on defense. They play well in the kicking game, explosive on offense, very good complementary football. So it's going to be a challenge for our club this weekend.
A very random question here. Fake field goals, you see them so infrequently. Is it harder to execute that play or defend against that play?
Well, I think there's a lot of variables. Anytime you talk about any, I don't want to say risk play, but there's a lot of things that you look for when you break down people. So I don't think that either one of them is harder or less hard. I think as a coach, you cover all the bases of, our possibilities of what we may be able to execute, and then making sure all our bases are covered on what the opposition may be able to execute. And then you constantly self-scout as the year goes by of, what are we doing? If I was playing us, what would I do? So all those things go into it.
Just kind of following up on Perk, I'm curious, in your career, do kickers, punters try to come up to you and show off their arm strength or show off their legs and try to convince you?
Well, I from my first meeting every year when we get together, it's, I want to show me what you can do. Don't tell me what you can do. Show me what you can do. So, yeah, when we go out for practice and walkthroughs, and, guys are always, and sometimes they're doing it on purpose, and sometimes they just happen to be messing around, and I see something, and, it piques an interest, and, hey, maybe we can execute and do something with that.